I went from making $28,000 a year as a teacher to $82,000 in my first data job. Today, I'm ranking data jobs from the ones with low pay ceilings to the ones that can raise your income a lot. Pay attention, because making the right choice helped me move into a new house recently. I'll also show you what skills you actually need to get there and what keeps people stuck at each level. Let's jump into it. Let's start with the low tier, which I would say is business analyst and junior data analyst roles. And the range here is roughly 55K to 75, maybe even 80K. I mean, to be honest, my first formal data job was as a business analyst, and my starting pay was 75K, but my bonus brought me to about 82K. So let's dig into the roles themselves and start with junior data analyst. So what separates like a junior data analyst from like a data analyst or senior data analyst is mostly the involvement they have in the projects and their ability or responsibility rather to project manage. So a junior data analyst most often will kind of be handed task-oriented work. A lot of like, query this thing, we need this data. Can you modify this report this way? Or can you build a quick XYZ? It's kind of just input, output. And the business analyst role, and again, I would say this is like low tier, mid tier. I don't think I would just leave it at the low tier. I think this one especially can be a pretty broad spectrum, the business analyst role. Like I said, I was definitely paid at the high end of what we're talking about here with business analysts, but depending on the right place, business analysts could potentially make a lot more than that as well. Truly depends. But a lot of these types of roles will mostly be like building reports. You might just be reporting to a single stakeholder, and that person is just kind of feeding you the direction. You might be reporting or working with more of a senior data analyst who's doing more of the project management side. But the main thing that keeps these roles in the lower tier would be the amount of project management, I would say, and the complexity of the work that they're doing, of course. How much problem solving are they actually doing? How much strategy are they involved in? These roles often support individual domain specific departments as well. In general, entry-level data analysts with 0 to 2 years of experience typically earn around 55K to 75K in the US. But what keeps people stuck here, whether it's stuck at the pay ceiling or stuck in the role itself or kept from going into similar roles that are just higher responsibility, are stopping the learning process. When you get too comfortable and you just stop learning, it's easy to kind of grind when you're trying to get a data job, but then when you finally get into it, you're like, I'm here, and you kind of settle into your work, you kind of get into the day-to-day. It's okay to breathe for a little, right? But a lot of times people will get comfortable and stop learning, stop growing, or stop looking for something better. And I've seen this with people where they want more responsibility, they want more pay, they don't put in the work into their skill set to actually level up. But don't be put off by the low tier. Like, this is a great place to start for anyone who wants to get into data. It'll teach you the foundation, and it acts as a great introduction or segue from the less technical roles to the more technical roles. And hey, if you're in those early tiers and trying to build the skills to move up, DataCamp is where I'd start. I've used them for years before I was ever collaborating with them in videos like this, and the two tracks I'd focus on are the Associate Data Analyst in SQL track and the Data Analyst in Power BI track. Both tracks build real projects as you go, so by the end you have proof of your skills and not just a certificate. You'll be able to actually build a portfolio of projects. I love DataCamp because of how focused they are with practical, hands-on, project-based work. DataCamp also has a free plan, so if you're in the market for data skills, start here, see if you like it. I know I have loved it, so give it a shot. You might like it too. Simply scan the QR code or find the links below in the description. And now back to the rest of the video. But again, these roles are not a dead end. They're a door to the higher paying positions, just like these middle tier positions, which would be data analyst and BI developer. And the main differentiator in these roles compared to the tier we just discussed is, again, more responsibility. There's a greater ownership required and a stronger presence in meetings and stakeholder management. You can expect to be the one initiating and conducting certain meetings. You can expect a lot more kind of stakeholder interviewing to understand projects, and even ownership to push back on things, make suggestions, be a part of the overall planning and admin side of the data projects that your company is involved in or that the departments are wanting. And again, Again, pay is always on a spectrum, but if we're looking at the data and what we were able to find in our research, a typical mid-level analyst is going to make anywhere from 70K to 95K on average. And the average for a BI developer is about 82K. I'd say the roles I've had that fit into these categories are kind of right on par with that. I think that 70 to 95K kind of applies to both of them, to be honest. I think BI developer roles can even go above 95K, but the BI developer roles that are extending beyond 90K or so are usually not just BI developer roles. But I digress. So the people skills are one of the biggest things here. Kind of alluded to that with like the stakeholder management and all of that. But the better you are with people and the admin side of things and that cross collaboration, you know, your ability to work with others and work with leadership is huge for this category. And also specializing. So I think specializing is something that can get overlooked a lot. But for me, Power BI is where I've chosen to specialize in my career. This is just something I spent a lot of time focusing on and got better at and became very marketable for Power BI specific roles. And how about the difference between someone who gets to this type of role in 2 years versus someone who takes maybe 6, for example? And I'd say the ability to work with others very well is becoming a premium skill. It always has been, but I'd say especially in the age of AI, interpersonal skills are becoming more important and sitting more at the forefront of premium skills. The ability to grow quickly is a big one as well. That's the technical development. So how quickly can you learn a new tool or find something to implement or kind of like, you know, onboard onto a new skill that maybe another department is using or something your company wants to implement or something that you could use but you're not using currently. Just growing quickly, learning and implementing and making reports actionable. This is another big one because when you're kind of in junior roles and it's that kind of one-to-one, like, hey, give me results for this query, whatever, you run a query or you build like a simple, you know, dashboard or something like that. That's great. But if you can build reports that leadership can really action on, you will see the impact be more directly connected to those projects that you've built in your role. And those are just huge wins. So if we're talking about one thing you could do this week to start moving toward this level, I'd say a couple of different things actually. One is you could perhaps take ownership of a project at work. So whether that is a net new project or you are stepping into something that's broken and just taking ownership and making sure that thing happens. The next would be revising or building something new that is highly actionable. So say you have a report which is like kind of useful, but not really because it's static, and you just decide to take that on, make it more impressive, highly actionable, and work on the adoption of that project. Because fostering adoption for the things that you build can sometimes be a big challenge. And if you can get good at this as well, and maybe that's another video topic for down the road, this is going to help exposure for the things that you build and again, provide more impact to the company. And so this is where a lot of people tend to stay. And again, that's not necessarily like a bad thing, right? You don't have to just keep progressing to more and more technical roles just for the sake of it. But the ceiling above this is a lot higher than some people may think. And that's where we get to the upper tier, which is the data scientist, data engineer, and senior data analyst category. And let's just briefly talk through each one. So a data engineer, they create data and pipelines that makes the data usable. It's a very, very vital role. I'd say especially now in this AI-driven world, it is becoming an increasingly valuable role. And I think every data analyst should try to pick up some engineering skills because I actually do think that a lot of data analyst roles are shifting to more of a analytics engineer type role, which would just be kind of a hybrid between those two roles. But data engineers can make a lot of money. I'd say, I mean, you've probably seen the viral posts of people from Airbnb saying that they make like $500,000 a year. And those are FAANG companies, so they're always going to pay way more, right? But I'd say for each of the roles we're going to talk about here, I'd say the range is around like 108K to upwards of like 170K. That's the average, right? Like we're talking about averages here. Can you make $500,000 in this roles? Yes, you can. You could also make close to 200K as just a data analyst if you're at somewhere like Google. We're going to kind of take like FAANG out of the equation because they sort of bloat the numbers a little bit. But now let's talk about data scientists. So what data scientists do is they look ahead and do a lot more predictive type work. And I'd say these are roles that kind of take companies to the next level. So whereas data engineers are building more of the foundation generation, data scientists are pushing forward into the future. But sometimes you won't see data scientist roles as much at certain companies. And that's because every company is not always ready for the predictive work that a data scientist does. But for the right organization and the right strategy, they are highly valuable, highly sought after roles, and so they do pay a premium. Next, let's talk about a senior data analyst role. So this is going to be similar to what we described in the mid-tier, but a senior data analyst is going to do a lot more of the people side, more of the project management side, and a lot more problem solving. Sometimes senior data analysts are the ones training the other data analysts on the team, especially some of the newer ones like a junior data analyst, and some senior data analysts might even have people reporting to them. So it's not quite a manager position, but it does carry a lot more weight and responsibility. And I'd say that what makes these roles harder to get into and what places them at the higher tier is primarily that they're more technical. Engineering is a completely different set of skills than what you would just be doing as a data analyst. Data science requires much more product sense and case study type work. It's also very SQL and Python heavy. But if you want to pursue a more technical route, these are great directions to go down. If you prefer a more people-oriented role, senior data analyst is a great way to go. And you could go into management as well, become an analytics manager. These roles have the capacity to earn just as much as the engineering and science roles. I'd say a realistic timeline to get to one of these roles from, say, a junior data analyst role is roughly 3 to 5 years. But it depends on how much time you spend learning and how comfortable you are moving around. And then there's the top of the ladder. And these are the roles that people rarely talk about. And say the top of the range are the data architect and analytics manager type roles. The average for these is roughly 140K to 180K. And these are both leadership roles. They carry a lot of weight. Data architects determine the data infrastructure and tech stack for the entire company. So it's a very big responsibility. And analytics managers don't need to be the most technical person on the team, but they are leading a technical team. So you do need some of that. If we're looking at just the data architect position alone, the average salary for this is roughly 141K per year in the United States. And who gets here? What does the path actually look like? So for architects, it's people with a vast knowledge of how everything works together from the back end to the front end. It is a highly technical role with a very broad skill set. For managers, strong leadership skills. You also need the ability to delegate, the ability to focus and take ownership of problems and solve them. And so if you're at the bottom of the rankings that we've talked about today, I'd say the biggest things you could focus on are working on your people skills, being a great team player who could take ownership of projects at work, and picking up new skills. I always emphasize the people side because you can see even from the salaries we discussed that the range can be quite high simply for being really strong with people skills. Of course, that's not the only thing that's going to get you into those roles, but it will give you a huge advantage. And beyond that, you just want to keep learning, keep growing, keep adding new skills to your skill set or getting deeper in the skills that you do know. But the difference between 55K and 170K in data isn't really talent per se. It's which role you picked, which skills you built behind it, and how early you started moving up that ladder. I'd say start with the DataCamp links below if you need to close a skill gap or add something that proves your level or get you to that next level. And if you want the exact roadmap to become a data analyst in 2026, I break this down step by step in this video next, so definitely check it out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.